There are a lot of headlines out there that point to women being less ambitious, and nothing could be further from the truth. Women are more ambitious than they were before the pandemic. They're just as ambitious as men. So the big story this year is women are ambitious, they're highly ambitious, and flexibility is powering that ambition. This is the 9th year of Women in the Workplace. It's the largest study of its kind conducted every year. We get pipeline data from hundreds of companies employing, 10 plus million people. We survey HR leaders and we survey employees themselves. And this year we really looked at myths.
There's a tremendous amount of focus on the glass ceiling or the glass cliff, but in fact, the biggest imbalance and opportunity for men and women starts at the very beginning with the broken rung. And the broken rung is this phenomenon that has been persistent for years. And it's that the most inequity and opportunity between men and women starts at the very first step up from individual contributor into manager, where for every 100 men who move forward, only 87 women do. And if you're a woman of color, that number is 73. So right at the very beginning of career opportunity and progression, you see this deceleration that affects women that does not affect men.
So one of our big messages to organizations is not only is it mission critical you fix your broken rung, it's the single biggest barrier to women advancement. You need to have a laser focus on fixing your broken rung for women of color.
There's this myth out there that post-pandemic, women in particular are less ambitious. And we see clearly in the data that nothing could be less true. In fact, ambition is at an all-time high for women. 96% of women say their career is a priority for them. And so we're facing this great moment of ambition in the environment, and flexibility has really unleashed that rather than muted it. And 80% of employees, men and women, say, I feel most productive when I actually have a chance to do some amount of work, remote or hybrid. What's interesting is the degree to which employers don't quite see the same or are worried that that may not be the case. But when you talk to employees, that's exactly what they say. And when we do the interviews, qualitatively, what people describe is this environment where they can actually kind of balance the different responsibilities, where they can be all in a very focused way, and they can pursue that ambition.
Probably what most surprised me is that a number of the myths we addressed this year, they're not new. We've been talking about these workplace problems for years, in some cases since the very beginning back in 2015. So the broken rung is still broken. Women are losing the most ground in the corporate pipeline at that very first promotion to manager, and then they just can never catch up. But a fundamental call to action in this year's report is to put a laser focus on fixing that darn broken rung so we can really get to a point where we consistently know that we're going to have more women in leadership and eventually parity in leadership.
At the individual company level, you spend incredible energy and resources to bring in the best of the best in every part of your company. If you only have a portion of that talent with the potential to rise through senior leadership, you just lose a ton of opportunity that you leave on the table in the talent you don't pull all the way through. And that's what we see with things like the broken rung at the very start. You are leaving great talent behind that you should be progressing along. And so later, when you then go look for that terrific senior manager or director to promote into a senior leadership position, and you feel like you don't have the options, it's because you've left those options on the table. And so for companies, it's incredibly important, and you see it play through in top performers, figure out how to do this, and the rest who don't really lose ground over time.